Hey guys, my name is SubZeroExtabyte, and as you know, it is time for another Roblox video. And yes, as you can see, we are still going strong with the Christmas holiday vibes, and that means that we can still rock our Christmas ugly sweater and the Santa hat and beard combination. But what are we going to do today? Well, that is a little something else than usual, because today we are taking a look at the older games in Roblox. So basically the games that came out right when I just started out with Roblox. So we are basically going to take a big trip down memory lane, and I am pretty stoked for it because I have been pretty nostalgic lately, so what is better for that than playing some old games that I have not played in like forever. That is actually pretty insane, because they still are pretty fun, but it just seems like they kind of like die down a little over time. Of course, that is what usually happens, but that is just sad. Alright people, so as you can see, we are now in pretty unfamiliar territory for most of you guys, but this is basically the place where I first moved to after moving out of my parents' their basement, and man, does this bring up some old memories. But hey, that is basically what this was for, right? So that we can look back at all the awesome things that made our year so great. So nostalgia is one of those things that will be showing his head a lot of times during this video, because I was already feeling nostalgic by just thinking back at this kind of games and towns. But now that I'm here, it is even better than I had imagined it to be. So as some of you might know, but I know that most of you probably won't, I actually did go to the police academy after graduating from college, and I wanted to become a cop. So that is basically what I first did when I came here, is to work at the local police station, and I actually had an awesome time there. I cannot complain about any of that, but it was a lot of hard work, especially when I did not get time off during the holidays. So I have a lot of respect for the guys and girls that are out there right now during the Christmas holidays. The brave men and women who are not at home feasting with their families, but they are doing God's work right now, protecting their communities from harm during the holidays. So they basically sacrifice their time with their families so that other people can enjoy their Christmas days together and without any problems or mishaps. So just if you know a police officer, a man or a woman, that does not matter at all, just thank them for what they are doing if you see them out on the street patrolling. I know that they could probably use a little love right now during these times, since a lot of people turn a blind eye when they see cops. So instead, show them that you appreciate them for what they do. And of course, if your mom or dad are away with Christmas because they had to go to work, if they are a police officer, well then tell them you love them, and do not blame them for working around these times, because all that we need to get through these dark December days is love. So do not go along and fight with your parents about some negligible things, because we already have a lot of hate and anger in the world, and right now we need love. But alright, so we got our groceries, and my rant about cops is over right now. So sorry and not sorry for that, because that was just a message that I thought was worth spreading during these days. But alright, we have got our groceries, so now it is time for us to just head back home before the night falls, because I still need to cook up some dinner and make sure that the house is clean before my family comes tonight, because I am making a big feast meal where everyone can eat for days. That is how much food I am going to make, because one, I am in a very good mood today now that the Christmas holidays have finally arrived, and of course because I had a lovely dinner last night with my family, and my mood has just been boosted by like 1,000 or maybe like 1,000,000%. So how did your Christmas Eve go? What did you and your family do? Please let me know in the comments. And of course, if you have already gotten your presents, then tell me what you guys got, or just tell me your favorite thing that you got. Just leave all of that in the comments down below so I can read them later today when I am trying to cook my meals. But alright, so we are back home, and this is the place where I lived when I first got to Robloxia. So this place just holds a special place in my heart. Yeah, that is right, I might have overused the word place there, but that does not matter since it does not feel out of place. Okay, that was another pun. I am sorry, but we put our groceries into the fridge, and that can just stay there until I start cooking later on in the night. So let's see what can we do now to kill some time while we wait for my family to arrive. I guess we could just walk around the neighborhood, but with the sun falling down it might just be a better idea to stay off of the streets in case something bad happens around here. But what can we do to make the time pass a little faster? I guess we could try another game mode. And would you look at that, we are here back into another game mode, and this is what we will be looking at next. So we are playing some Fruit Juice Tycoon. This is actually one of the first game modes that I have ever played in Roblox, so I am probably a little rusty right now, but just look past that. So I believe that what we have to do right now is set up our own little fruit juice stand. But we of course need to buy a lot of fruit for that if we actually want to make a lot of juices, right? Or smoothies, or whatever you want to call them. They are just blended up fruit drinks put on some fancy glass with a colored straw and one of those little umbrellas put into it to get that summery vibe around here. Even though it is Christmas, but I have never seen a Christmas themed smoothie or fruit juice. They always just make me think about those warm summer days playing along in the suburbs where I used to live and drinking some juice from a juice box. And then at one time my mom took me to the mall on a really hot day and we just dropped past this freaking amazing smoothie place, and it was soaring hot outside, so we got ourselves some smoothies, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me on that day, just because it was so good and fresh and literally refreshing that it cooled me down so well that I actually wanted to put on a sweater right then and there. But that might have just been the air conditioning. Okay, so guys, I am actually still not quite sure about what in the world I need to do right now. I mean, just look at me right here, I have no clue about what to do. Even when I first started out with Roblox, I had no idea what I need to do right here, and I also have no idea what to do right now. This is the sad truth about me, to be honest. Sometimes I just have no idea what I need to do, and I probably will not figure out what I need to do to actually start making some fruit juices right now. So I guess that I will just walk around a little to see what is going on around here. I mean, look at this. There is no way that I'm going to figure out what I need to do to actually make one of these smoothies. Now with that said, actually it just also looks like no one else has any idea about what they need to do around here, because they are all just jumping around and pretty much doing nothing around their little fruit juice stand. So at least I am not the only dumb guy walking around here, for this game mode is just way too hard for me right now. That is a possibility as well. So I guess for the sake of entertainment I will just switch to the next game mode on my little special list with little special game modes specially made for me in this video. So one of the things that I enjoyed doing when I first moved here was hiking. It is a lot of fun and you can go see a lot of nature. So that is something that we are going to do today as well. We need to make sure that our boots are well prepared, because some of these trails can become pretty hard and you do not want your boots to feel uncomfortable, because that is the #1 way to actually catch some blisters. And you never want to catch any blisters while you are hiking, because that will just make you hate the hike instead of loving it and the nature around it. So with that said, let's just head out into the mountains right here and see how far we can get before sundown. And that will be the time that we are going to return right back to the point where we started, because in the night the coyotes will come out and start hunting, and I do not want to be the thing that is getting hunted on by a coyote. That is just another way to die. Oh my, would you look at that pipeline going there. I wonder what that thing might be, because I do not recall this ever being here, so I am kind of curious right now. At least it is sturdy enough for us to walk on it, but for how long? Of course. There is an exit sign. And alright, we just teleported to this place, and I'm not sure where we might be right now actually. Oh wait, we just teleported to this pad. This is basically where we were like 10 seconds ago. Alright, that was just a glorified waste of our time. So instead of wasting any more time around here, let's just head on to that bridge now, shall we? I mean, I can see that there is something going on down there. I am not sure what, but it looks pretty festive if you are asking me. Alright, so we will just go ahead and ignore that right now, because we need to walk a couple more miles before we are back to the parking lot, and it is already starting to become sundown. And if you listen very closely, you can already hear the coyotes starting to wake up and look for some food around here. And like I just said, we do not want to become their food source. But first let's check this thing out right here. There are some old ruins around here, but I am not sure what they are from. I mean, we are not in Greece, so it cannot be some ancient Greek ruins. But we are also not in Italy, so that means that it cannot be some kind of Roman ruins. So what could it be? I literally have no idea what kind of ruins this might be. But if you actually do know that, well, please just help me out, man. It will be much appreciated right now. Just leave a comment down below if you actually do know what kind of ruins these are and help me out with that, alright? But at least we can do some parkour or obby or whatever you want to call it up here. And I actually have not been here in a long time, so I am probably a little rusty right now. So yeah. I think that was a little bit of an understatement right there. I might just be really rusty right now, but that does not matter at all. We are just here to have fun, and not to be the best in town right now, even though we still are the best in town. I mean, would you just take a look at me right now? So alright, I guess I will just tell you what is next on our list, and this will actually be the city of Robloxia. I mean the town that we were when we just started in this video. That was a suburban town of the city of Roblox. So I basically grew up in a suburban neighborhood with my parents. When I took off to college, I moved into the actual city of Roblox to go ahead and start to study at the Roblox College in the city of Roblox. And then after that I moved back into the suburbs. Not the ones where I came from, but the city of Roblox actually does have a lot of suburbs, so I just moved to a different one when I started the police academy, because that was basically the only police station that was willing to send me off to the police academy, because all of the others did not think that I would ever make it in the police force, and I ended up quitting, of course, so I guess that they were not wrong. But I left the police force to pursue this YouTube career instead of pursuing bad guys all day long, because that was just a tad too dangerous for my delicate taste. Alright, I do not want to go everywhere by car, that way we will just miss a lot of the fun that the city can bring us. So let's patrol further on foot so that we can actually make sure that we do not miss any kind of landmarks around the city. I mean, this is a beautiful city, and that is coming from someone who has been to a lot of cities during his youth. I mean, I once visited one of the biggest cities in North Carolina, or was it South Carolina? I mean, I can never hold those two apart for some reason. Maybe that is just because I am not that good when it comes to directions. I mean, north and south are already a struggle for me. But whenever I need to ask for directions to someone, and they start telling me to go east or west on some street, well, that is just the point where I start to give up on my journey, because I literally have no way to know where to go. But that might just be me. So kids, please pay attention to your geography classes if you want to know anything about that, because it really is not fun when you do not know anything about those things. It is really bad. But alright, I might have needed to warn you about this airport, because it is one of the weirdest things about this city. I think that you can actually buy some ticket that will get you to space by plane. I am not really sure about how that sort of stuff works, but I mean, I guess there is something good to it, but I really have no idea what that might be. I mean, come on. Do I really look like someone who can pay for a ticket that will take me to outer space? I do not look like someone who can pay for that, and quite frankly I am not someone who can pay for that. So just to make that clear to you here, I probably would have bought a ticket to go to outer space, just because outer space seems really cool to me. But on the other hand, I really do not have the money to pay for that right now. I mean, paying rent on the place that I live is really hard, man. But hey, that is why I have such an amazing house back home, right? And I basically have my own playground with some slip and slides that lead into some lake. That is all that I need right there. And of course, that lake that I was talking about is not this lake. If you have not seen where I live, then I would suggest that you go ahead and watch some of my previous videos. Oh no, wait a second, we started this video out in my actual apartment, so just go back to the beginning of the video. Of course, do that when the video is done so that you do not miss anything. But there you can see where I live, and the lake that I live next to is not as violent as the one that we are standing next to right now. And it does not have a castle like this in the middle of the lake on some kind of tropical island. I wish it had though, because I would be the one to build some big castle on there, and I would just be living like some kind of pirate. I would actually really love that idea. But I would be needing to drop by the freaking government or some other city body where I can request the plans for such an undertaking. And of course I also do not have the money for that. Maybe I would have the money for it if I were just to stop the rent at the place that I am living at right now. But I really do not think that it is worth it to do that right now. For some reason it just looks like too much trouble for me to go through. And I would actually be breaking my lease contract for the apartment, and then I would basically be homeless if it was not for my castle to live in. But if that plan would go down south, then I would be in a lot of trouble, and I would probably start living in some kind of cardboard box to make sure that I still have some kind of roof over my head. But you know, I am basically Captain Hook right now from Peter Pan. So who is going to do me bad now? That is right, no one is going to mess with you once you have some kind of hook for a hand. That is the sole reason why people are terrified for Captain Hook. I actually was really terrified for Captain Hook when I was a kid, and then I am not talking about the cartoon Peter Pan, but the real-life version with Robin Williams, rest in peace my man. But that was just a terrifying version of Captain Hook. But actually, with all of that said guys, it is time for me to say goodbye. Of course I do not want to do this, but the time has come, so I would still want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, and I hope that you will enjoy all of the presents that you have got or that you are getting, and I will see you in the next video.